You're looking at one of the most secret places in America, Tech Area 55 at Los Alamos National Laboratory.
There it is, the Plutonium Palace.
Greg Mello says he knows all about what happens at TA-55 because of material he's obtained through the Freedom of Information Act and lawsuits. The Harvard graduate works for a watchdog group called the Los Alamos Study Group.
Is it fair to say that Los Alamos has become America's nuclear bomb factory?
Yes.
Los Alamos was the birthplace of the atomic bomb, but got out of the bomb business in the early 50s. Now Mello says the lab is back at it. He says 18 months ago it started producing the core of nuclear weapons, what's called the pit.
It's made of plutonium. It sits in the heart of the bomb, and it is the thing that goes boom.
The man in charge of Los Alamos' plutonium program says yes, they have started making pits, but not for America's stockpile of nuclear weapons.
We're making them for research, then we take them apart.
Mello says they're not taking all of them apart, and some could be placed in weapons.
Kind of like damn the non-proliferation treaty, full speed ahead.
Bruce Matthews admits Los Alamos is the only place in the country where pits are being made, and in the future, the lab will make a lot more of them.
We will be, though. That's part of our mission, absolutely.
The only way to find out if the plutonium pits work is to test them. And Mello says that, too, is being done at Los Alamos.
Full-scale plutonium cores from nuclear weapons are exploded inside giant steel tanks.
This is a picture of those steel tanks at Los Alamos.
What are those vessels?
They contain plutonium. They don't contain plutonium now, but they handle plutonium.
And when you say handle, what does that mean?
Basically, they were used for some testing programs.
And what kind of testing?
You're getting into an area that I can't talk about.
Can I tell you what he told me? And
Sure.
then maybe you could respond to it. He said that you're doing some nuclear testing with these vessels here at Los Alamos.
We have done testing in the past with those vessels. That's a true statement.
Mello says if any of the steel vessels ruptured during a test, there'd be trouble.
There's enough plutonium in one of those explosions to contaminate a vast swath of northern New Mexico.
And I have a family here, and I'm not going to let plutonium go spewing all over the county. It's just nonsense.
We can get close to those now? Is it possible?
No, you'd get probably chased off by the guards.
Before the interview, we were back there with the camera. For 10 minutes, we stood there, and no guards ever showed up.
I think if you go out the back now, you're not going to see anything like that, because we've got a program to clean those up.
Actually, on the day we visited, the nuclear test containers were still there, in plain view. From radio talk show hosts
and what the Los Alamos Study Group is.
We may be producing
to U.S. senators, a lot of people were expressing their opinions about what this man has to say about some of the work being done at Los Alamos National Laboratory. Greg Mello of the Los Alamos Study Group said on Eyewitness News 4 that the lab is testing the core of nuclear weapons in these steel tanks and putting people in northern New Mexico at risk.
There's enough plutonium to contaminate a vast swath of northern New Mexico.
Today, Senator Pete Domenici, an outspoken supporter of the lab, said there's no truth to what Mello is saying.
All you got to do is go up there and see the workers that work in that area. They're as excited as can be. They're not frightened a bit. It's just one big scare tactic on the part of people that want us to close down these kind of activities.
The story has ignited a heated debate among New Mexicans. Many of them sounded off on Chris Jackson's show on KOB AM.
We have a nuclear deterrent, and it's one of the primary ingredients that won the Cold War against the Soviet Union. And just because the Soviet Union went away doesn't mean we now live in a benign world where there are no threats.
Now, these drums that they showed last night on the news, they're behind a building outside. there's plutonium residue in those drums, and if they're cracked open, plutonium can get into the air and irradiate people?
You bet.